Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 177 of NerdPod Generations. As always, I am one of your illustrious hosts, Steve Taylor, along with the always lovely Al Judson, who is well groomed today because it's after Halloween.
Yeah, I cut it all off. Hello, friends and enemies.
You look very coiffed.
Yes,
very nice.
I cut it all off. I was in the shower for about an hour.
I believe it.
Getting all the green out of my beard and hair.
Oh, my God.
And I got to say, after all that, the costume didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. So I haven't posted any pictures because I'm not like super proud of it.
Where did you go with this costume?
Nowhere. I was just here.
I was just here
doing
candy?
Yeah. Which we didn't even hand out that much candy. We pretty much had to find neighborhood kids and ask them to come by and get candy. Yeah. That also didn't help. Yeah. That didn't help. I'll tell you.
I gotta say, my kids now. I was severely against them going out because they both had little colds. Mm-hmm. But my sister-in-law and her kids came over, and so we're like, listen, they can go out for a little bit. But after a couple years of In the Rain, I refused. So I said, I will follow you in the car. Mm-hmm. So I was in our little electric car with my seats all heated, sitting there all toasty watching them. And I'm like, you can climb in anytime you want. Yeah. And then halfway through, they climbed in. And I'm like, oh, God, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's one of those, I remember those Halloweens as a kid where you're like, this is my one chance. I don't get to do this again until next year. I'm not waiting until next year to do this because it might rain again. So I guess I'm just going to go and tough it out. And then inevitably the parents after 20 minutes are like, are you sure? And the kids are like, I'm done. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore.
And especially because the next day I went to Wegmans and I bought $26 worth of half-price candy.
Exactly.
It's all good stuff, too. I'm like, here you go, kids. You didn't need to go trick-or-treating.
We should set up some kind of like haunted house trick-or-treating crossover kind of thing.
That would be awesome.
Where the ghosts come out and scare you, and then they give you a candy bar.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that. So, folks, NerdPod Generations 177, meaning there are 176 previous episodes of Pure Gold. So if this is your first time listening, please go back and listen to the back catalog, and you can find us at nerdpodgen.com. That is nerdpodgen.com. On the website, there is a link on the homepage to our most recent episode. At the bottom of the homepage, there is actually a link to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then there are different pages for each one of us so you can see what our beautiful faces look like and have a little understanding of what we do outside of here on the creative side, because Lord knows the work side sucks the life from us. So
yeah, you don't want to hear about the work side.
No.
The work side is just like any water cooler bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's me and Steve talking about like, oh, you have a cubicle? I never had a cubicle. Like, that's work. And it's
pretty much work.
It's terrible.
And
nobody wants to. I at the risk of being kind of shunned, I am not a tryhard. And in an office full of tryhards, I look around and I'm just like, okay, y'all give yourself shout-outs when you finish jobs, right? That's the only reason we have 20 minutes of shout-outs during some of these meetings is because you turn around and you pat yourself on the back so that then we can all do it publicly for you, too.
Those meetings are the worst.
Oh, my God.
They're the worst.
I'm just sitting there like, we are going through stuff at work that would be good to talk about, but I guess we're not going to do that. And also, I'm a little jaded because I've never gotten a shout out after working for this company for 10 years. Even when it was my 10-year anniversary, they left me off the 10-year anniversary list. And I was just like, oh, fuck all you guys.
And that's where the politics of shit really shines.
Yeah, I don't pat myself on the back publicly enough. Yeah. I need to go out and be like, hey, did you all look at the good job that I did? And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I used to walk around with a sign that said, I used to be perfect, but I'm way too conceited for that now.
Yeah.
So let me move on, folks. We need to move on to Watch, Play, Read, because this is, I know it is technically after Halloween we're recording this, but this is the final week of Halloween Havok 2025.
Some of us are in denial about Christmas. Some of us are very excited for Christmas, and I love some of those people, and congratulations to them, and you made it, and I'm so happy for you. I am not done with Halloween, and I will be dragging its corpse through the streets like fucking Hector.
Yeah, well, especially next week, we're probably going to be reviewing Frankenstein. It comes out on the 7th. So that's
and we're going to be reviewing weapons today.
Be an unofficial Halloween next week.
Yeah.
But so Watch, Play, Read, I am going to be starting. I want to do a quick shout out. We, as a family, watched Free Guy.
Yeah.
And love that movie. I think I talked about it last week.
You mentioned it last week.
I've been thinking about it more and more, and I really love that movie, and I can't stress enough, people, please watch it. I've been going back and showing my kids some older movies. I told you we watched the Simpsons movie, which was fun. The big one, though, is I finally showed my son The Monster Squad. which was a moment I've been waiting for because it
Yeah.
was my favorite kids movie growing up. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it. Still holds up. Still love it. You could tell he liked it and he laughed a lot. A lot of the 80s references definitely went way over his head. And, there's some cringy, they use a lot of homosexual slurs, let's say, in that movie. But it's, once again, it's the way kids talk back then.
It's of its era.
Very much of its era. Watching that little girl call them all chicken shit was hysterical.
Yep.
And he did laugh like a little toddler when they said kick the Wolfman in the nards, which made me so proud.
That's the only thing that's important, really. That's the biggest thing.
Wolfman has nards is really just... And then the virgin thing, too, at the end was awesome. Steve, he doesn't count. Yeah. So I finally showed him that. Highly recommend if you haven't seen that movie, especially if you're from the 80s and have a love of that decade. It is so quintessentially an 80s movie. And it's written by the guy that wrote Lethal Weapon and Predator. So
I was about to say Shane Black.
Shane Black.
Yeah,
he was a co-writer on it. So
yeah. No, and when Shane Black arrives, there's always going to be that kind of humor.
Yes.
Like that's a tent pole.
Yes, very much.
He's literally the guy in Predator saying dirty jokes in the helicopter. That's literally him.
Yeah.
So like that's his whole bag, man.
He's good at it.
Yeah. If you've got a talent.
Movies,
yeah. Hey, he's okay at directing movies sometimes, and sometimes he's very bad at it.
Recently, he's not the best.
Yeah. I like what's that movie called with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling?
Oh, The Other Guys.
The Other Guys.
Oh, no. That's not The Other Guys. It's The Nice Guys?
The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
It is The Nice Guys.
And then he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
He did do Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
We will give him a pass on those. Those are really good.
On occasion, he hits one.
Yes.
But
then he does The Predator. And then
you have a problem, yeah.
So I do want to move on real quick. Once again, my watch play reads have been very video game centric the last 3 weeks, which I don't know how this has happened. I think I might have played my game of the year.
Is it Fortnite: The New Horizon?
No. It is called Ball X Pit.
Okay.
Or some people just refer to it as Ball Pit. Mm-hmm. It is an indie. It was one of these ones made by like 3 people. It's an indie game. It's so hard. It's so interesting and hard to explain. It's only like $15, so I highly recommend everyone go out and buy it. You are a character. It's this giant ball from space destroys Babylon City, and you go to mine the remnants, but there's all these like demons down there.
Oh.
So when you are in like battle mode, it's like Breakout, the old Atari game Breakout, because there are these different blocks of enemies. And they all have different like skeletons or whatnot on them. Some are bigger, so they take more damage. But they're coming down in a line, and you have a large ball, and then you have these small ones. They call them baby balls. The large ball you can upgrade. As you're knocking out enemies, they drop these little gems. You absorb them, and then you can upgrade. And there's like an ice ball, a fireball. There's one that's a ghost that goes through the enemies and then gets onto the backside. And the faster the balls are hitting, the more damage they do because they speed up. So if you can get them onto the back, they'll start breaking shit up. And then there are these jewels you get that help that you can either upgrade all your balls or you can merge a couple of them into like a super different thing. You unlock characters in it. You unlock houses because it's a very difficult... It took me 6 tries to beat the first run because you're leveling up your character. It's like you're grinding. So I know, what do they call them? A roguelike. It's a roguelike.
Yes.
But it's Breakout, which is weird because you get the ball behind and you see them like bouncing and knocking all the enemies. But in between those matches, you go back to your home base and then it's a building sim where you build farms and forests and houses and different armories. And when you get the ability to build new shelters is where you can unlock new characters that have different abilities. But when you are going to like harvest wheat or harvest wood or ore, and all of these are used to not only expand your home base but to improve your character. So like you have these little guys walking around and you shoot them where you need to go. They can't go past houses. So if you aim where you're going to shoot them just right, they will bounce like the balls in the game, and they'll do all of the stuff you need. unbelievably addictive.
Is this a Switch game or is this?
It's on. I think it's everywhere, but I got it on Switch 2, and it's perfect on Switch 2. Once again, it's $15, so it's not much. I believe it was like a couple people made this game, so the graphics are very rudimentary.
Oh yeah,
but holy crap, it's so much fun.
Stylized, Steve.
Very
the graphics are stylized.
I tell you, you will get addicted to this game because it is one of those ones where you're like, I can't believe I didn't beat. I'm just gonna try it one more time.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 hours late, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. That was me with several of the mini games in Ghost of Yotei of just like, oh, this is simple. I can get this, and then you're just there for hours.
But then I watched the video on it, and the depth that you go into as far as what balls do you merge. Do you skip merging them for a time being until you can get a different one that you can merge? And then each of the larger balls have a different impact depending on your player. It's so in-depth and insane, but it's so much fucking fun. So I highly, highly, highly recommend Ball X Pit.
Yeah.
Is how it shows, and it's fucking awesome. For $15, you cannot beat this game.
Third-party games are the treasure of the current gaming landscape. Because as much as I finished Ghosts of Yotei, I'll talk about it a little bit during my section, but as much as I love a game like that, where it's just broad and huge and beautiful and all this other stuff, third-party games that are $20 or less are like the thing that actually keeps systems running. And having a good backlog of those is so important.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So important. Like, a lot of the Switch games that we played weren't necessarily Nintendo games. It was stuff like Donut Country or Trombone Champ or other things, So it's having a good backlog of off-brand games. Good idea.
Well, the 2 highest rated games on the Switch 2 right now are Ball Pit X and Hades 2, which are both indies. Because Hades 2 is only like, I think it's $20.
Yeah.
It's not much.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. So we will move on to one more game, which is going to be the bridge between our 2 Watch Play Read segments.
Yeah.
There was a big surprise update for Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Like a big surprise.
So Animal Crossing New Horizons has done what we were saying they should have done with Mario Kart and all the Madden games.
Yes.
And they're saying, hey, you know what? We have a really good core, so we're just going to build around it. And holy shit, did they build around it.
Like, I am all at once impressed, excited, and where the fuck has this been?
Yeah.
Because, like, I love everything that's coming. I'm really excited for everything that they're pitching. I think it's all really fun, interesting stuff that I've wanted to see. Why wasn't this around 2 years ago?
Well, if you remember the last update, they said there will be no more
DLC
and updates. I think they looked at their game and tried to build a new one and said, you know what? Let's just build onto the one we have because the new one won't be that big an upgrade.
I honestly don't know if Nintendo wants Animal Crossing to succeed. Not to say that they aren't putting effort into it, but the way that they're going about it has been so ass backwards throughout the entire process. Of like, it's this huge hit in 2020. Everybody loves it because everybody's stuck inside, and it's a game that allows for all these different mechanics and hourly play you can get into.
It's 40 million sold.
It was an enormous success. Like and then the next year they came out with updates, and then a few years later they were like, "Oh, we're done with this thing. Nobody cares." And it's like, no, people still care. People are still deeply into this. Nah, nobody cares. Nintendo says nobody cares, and so they just drop it and they say, "We're done. We're moving on," and then. You have 2 Kirby Air Rider Directs. You have a Pokemon Direct. You have like 3 regular Nintendo Directs, all for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
None of them mention anything about Animal Crossing. This drops on some random Thursday at 2 p.m. And you're just left being like, Nintendo, what the actual fuck is going on?
They've always been out of their mind. And this is just another example.
But I'm just saying, like, you have 2 Kirby Air Rider Directs. Yeah. You have a Pokemon ZA Direct, which is for a game that sucks shit. Yep. All right, I'm pretty confident in saying that it's not a good game. Playable, sure. Good, no. Why, when you know that there has been a groundswell for people that love Animal Crossing, this is one of your tentpole brands, why do it this way? I'm super happy about everything that's in this game. Why do it this way? It's like you want it to fail.
I tell you, I think I'm almost wondering if they had it planned as a successor saw the reaction to Mario Kart World,
Yeah.
and decided, why don't we just take some of the stuff we were doing and just do it as DLC and slowly roll it out into the old one?
Yeah.
Which, once again, is what I've been asking for Madden and all these other games
Yeah.
for forever. So I was ecstatic to see that.
Just give me the new roster. Allow me to download
Yeah.
the new roster for $5. I don't need
Exactly.
anything else.
But especially, the meaty part of this is free,
Yeah.
which is nuts.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I'm also curious to see how much the Switch 2 upgrade costs.
I would assume it'd be in the $10 range, same as the Zelda one.
I'm worried it's going to be a little bit more expensive, if for nothing else, because Nintendo sometimes does that, where it's just mysteriously, and they don't seem to want this to succeed.
But here's the thing I'll tell you. I have not touched Animal Crossing for 2 years. And Gemma and I, my daughter Gemma and I, had created a island called Buttopia. And she actually bought me a coffee mug that's Animal Crossing. It says Buttopia on it for
Excellent.
Father's Day. Somehow our save got deleted.
Okay.
So I'm like, crap. So I brought it over to the Switch 2 and started a new Buttopia the other day. It runs so much better on Switch 2. It is so fast.
Yeah.
The load times are almost nothing. It's awesome.
Like, even in the Direct, they're like, hey, look how much better this shit looks on Switch 2.
But this is without the Switch 2 update.
Yeah.
This is just running the native Switch game on it. It's so much better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm very curious.
I'm super pumped. I love this idea of that there's now going to be voice chat.
Yes.
The camera chat, I don't care as much about, because it's, as I joked to Kelly, it's like you would need vaudevillian, mugging to camera levels of emotion to really get, like, to make that make anything. It's just this little bubble with a person's face over it. It looks like shit. And I'm sure it's going to affect the runtime on everything, because I appreciate the notion, Nintendo. I just don't think you have the hardware to run this horse. But I love the voice chat. I think that's something that the game desperately needed. Yep. I love the look of it. I love all the new elements that they're adding. I just kind of feel like Nintendo is, I don't know if it's embarrassed or what, but they just don't seem to be embracing Animal Crossing in a meaningful way like they do literally all their other brands. And so I'm hyped. I think all the stuff that's coming to New Horizons just in general, not just necessarily the Switch 2 version. I think that is the stuff
Zelda
that's
gear
huge.
looks awesome.
The Zelda gear, the fact that you can now have 4 islands.
Yes.
That's enormous. The fact that you can have your friends help decorate your islands. That's enormous.
Yep.
The stuff with Cap'n. That looks great.
That looks amazing.
So, like, the fact that you can get Nintendo systems and each has a dedicated game that you can play in Animal Crossing. That's fucking dope.
People have been asking that since GameCube, because that was the big GameCube
Where
thing.
has this been?
Yeah.
Where has this been? I'm for every moment where I'm like, that looks fucking great, I can't wait to see this, I'm also left being like, but where has this fucking been? Kelly brought up the very astute point. Why didn't this drop with the Switch 2 launch? Why wasn't this announced with the Switch 2 launch? People have been complaining all year about there not being enough Switch 2 content. Why wasn't this brought up earlier? If this was something that you had in your back pocket, this is clearly not like one of those, like, it'll get done when it gets done. It's pretty much done. It's going to launch next year for some reason, and I'm just left being like, why?
This is where I stand by. I think they were planning on having this be a sequel.
Yeah.
And they made a quick course correction.
Yeah.
Showed you some of the build, and they're between now and January, they're going to just motor it to get it transferred over to the OG Switch.
Maybe.
Well, I'm assuming the free stuff was always going to be offered to the Switch. Mm-hmm. But now they're doing the Switch 2 upgrade, because you're right. It's for a game that has sold 40 million and has become big in pop culture with stuffies and everything. I can't see them, because one thing Nintendo loves is money.
Exactly.
And the whole reason why they haven't had the systems with the video games like they did with the GameCube is because for the Wii and the 3DS and the Wii U, they could upcharge you for those games, so they don't want to give them to you for free. And here, if you remember, they say you have to have an online account, with Nintendo to get it, meaning you already have access to those games. They're just going to make it so you have access to them in the game.
Yeah.
So, they love money. And I think they really saw the writing on the wall with Donkey Kong. Just not Donkey Kong, Mario Kart.
Yeah.
They saw the reaction to it, which I have been watching more and more YouTube where guys are like, yeah, look on my Switch here. It has Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't even play World. It's not even anywhere near it. And I think they saw that and said, fuck it. We can just do an update and get 20, let's say the update's $20. Get $20 a person. Fucking save a ton of money on shipping a new game and all that. We're good.
See, this is like, I'd be very curious. I'd love to see a documentary
behind the scenes
about what the process is at Nintendo, because there are just so many moments where you're kind of left wondering, like, how is this the plan?
Yeah,
this is the whole plan. I go back to ZNA and Violet, and we're going to sue Power World for $50 million, but also limit the budget of our billion-dollar industry to $13 million.
Yeah.
What is the thought process here? What is any of this? This doesn't make any sense. Who would go about things this way, knowingly, when you have... Like, I get it. Okay, I get it. On the one hand, you're Nintendo. You have so much credit in the bank. Look at Pokemon. Pokemon is the perfect example. You have so much credit in the bank, you don't have to try, and people will still eat your slop.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, I don't know, maybe this is the idealist in me. Don't you not want to make slop? Like, don't you not want to make slop? Don't you want to make something good that continues to propagate your credit instead of draining your credit and being like, well, we just didn't really want to try on this one. We put in our effort. We thought it was good, but ultimately we didn't care. And I know they'll never say that they don't care, but the product that they're releasing says that they don't care.
I do want to make an amendment to last week, and I do apologize. I was incorrect when I said Pokemon will go elsewhere. I forgot Nintendo was a third owner in the Pokemon company.
Yeah.
So it's never going anywhere.
No.
But that does put the emphasis on Nintendo with the Pokemon games, saying, dude, you own Monolith Soft. Monolith Soft has been able to take Switch 1 and put just miraculous games on it with the Xenoblade Chronicles series.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that you can't tell Monolith Soft, listen, you need to go help them on this next one.
Something, anything. Like, I don't know what I at some point it becomes, and I think this is like kind of the nature of my entire argument. At some point it becomes damning. You know, you can say whatever you want to say, but in this 21st century life, we've all learned that you ignore what someone says and you look at what they do.
Yep.
Who cares what they say? They can say whatever they want. Look at what they do. And I'm just looking at the Nintendo Pokemon division, and I'm looking at Animal Crossing, and I'm looking at how they go about these things, and I'm saying, you can say whatever you want to me, but your actions tell me that in some regards you don't care. You don't care about Animal Crossing. I don't know why, but the way that you've gone about everything tells me that you don't care, or you don't think that this is going to be successful, or that there's not an audience for it, or something. That the audience market from the pandemic has dried up, and there's just no one left who cares about Animal Crossing. No. No. I can tell you that's not true. It may be dormant.
Yeah, it's not going to sell in the numbers it did during the
pandemic. But
you'll still sell 20
You'll
million.
still sell a ton.
Yeah.
And if you put stuff in, you'll get stuff out.
Yep.
You know, it's almost like you stopped doing updates for the game and then your fan base dried out because you stopped giving them anything, but you kept putting it into the mobile game. The mobile game still had tons of fucking content. It's just that you didn't put that into the base game for whatever reason. Oh, wait, I know the reason. It's money. Because in the base game, you can't charge people like you can in the mobile game. You have a lot more credibility to be able to charge people in the mobile game because people know that's what a mobile game is for. So you kept pumping stuff into there because it was a source of revenue, but you didn't care enough to put any of those things into the base game. So that's an enormous problem. And then you do this where you're just going to announce it on a Thursday afternoon. Like it's not a big deal. If you act like it's not a big deal, then people will react to it like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to do better than this, son. You got to make a better Pokemon game than this. And you got to be better about promoting your product than this.
Which I am curious on the direction of Nintendo in the next few years, because it's widely known that there's a generational shift going on in the hierarchy in Nintendo. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because it seems like the old guard, they loved money, but they always like to put out
a good product.
A good product, where the new one might be like, we like money and we don't give a fuck what quality it is.
Where Nintendo, people eat our slop.
Exactly. Adults still consider the name Nintendo to be all video games.
Yeah. So this is all to say that welcome to our new recurring segment, Nintendo's and Nintendon'ts.
Yes.
Because I'm sure we're going to have even more to talk about with Nintendo in the future. It's just funny that it's happened 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. And it'll probably continue.
Yeah. I mean, like, as more stuff for the Switch 2 comes out and they try and do more things.
Because next week is the new Zelda game.
Yes.
And then in a month is Metroid. I think it's a month from this Friday.
Yeah, because it's before Christmas.
Yeah.
So
we got a lot coming.
There's
and Air Riders, too.
Air Riders. I'll be very curious to see what they do next year, because I don't feel like they can do, like, I always feel bad that this is the lob that I always throw out there, but it's the one that's most applicable to me. I don't feel like if you came out and you were like, we have a new Pikmin and we have a new Splatoon, I don't think that's going to move the arrow.
No.
So I wonder what they're going to do.
They have to spike the football. It's Zelda's 40th anniversary. Yeah. They have to have a massive Zelda presence.
This is something that we didn't discuss, because we did discuss the Zelda anniversary, but we didn't bring this up, and I thought about it while I was editing the show.
Okay.
Is this the time to do a full remaster of Ocarina of Time?
There has been a lot of discussion that that's what's happening.
And like do a double up where it's Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and they don't look like shit anymore.
See, I'll be honest. I was of an age when those games came out that I wasn't playing video games a lot, and when I did, it was mainly sports, because I think I was already in the Marines out of high school and all that. I never been in love with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, mainly because I go back to play them now, and the jankiness is very off-putting. So for me to be excited about that, it wouldn't have to be a remaster. It would have to be a full-on remake. Like, you would have to remake them in a style of either like a Breath of the Wild style, or even like Wind Waker style, like something. You need to upgrade it and update the visuals.
Well, I think, in my opinion, I think that's what they should do, is to basically fix the visuals.
Yeah.
You can, if you want to keep the art style, you can. I don't think that it was a particularly dynamic art style.
No.
You know, we talked about the creepiness of Twilight Princess, and it begins with Ocarina of Time. If you look at some of the faces in Ocarina of Time, there's that element of polygons, absolutely. But there's also an element of, man, these people look fucking weird.
Yeah.
They look fucking weird. Every single one of them looks fucking weird. And polygons or not, they look weird. You know, it's like, we can talk about Zelda having flappy hands all day. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is the construction guy in the village who screams at you and has a giant bullfrog mouth. That's the part I'm concerned with.
Yeah.
So I'd be very curious. It is not by any regards a pretty game to look at. Neither of them are. They are both very ugly, and even when you take the polygons out of it, they're still not appealing to look at.
I even tried the 3DS remakes of both, and it still was too janky.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm past that generation. Like, I can't go back and play a N64 or a PS1 game anymore, because as much of a leap in control was for those games, the graphics do not age.
No, exactly. So
I think
if you keep, I wouldn't even say keep all the mechanics. Keep some of the mechanics. Give the other mechanics an update. You know, let's not forget this is the era of the C-stick and this is before the C-stick. This is the C buttons.
C buttons.
So like
you got to have a jump button.
You got to have a jump button.
I cannot play a Zelda game now without a jump button.
Yeah.
It would drive me out of my fucking mind.
Yeah. So
unless it's a top down, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But if it's a straight on 3D, it's got to have a fucking jump
Yeah,
mode.
so I think that would be the most interesting thing, especially if you combine the games in some way.
Ooh.
So, like, you had to get the bad ending in Ocarina of Time in order to play Majora's Mask, but then you would roll right into Majora's Mask after getting the bad ending in Ocarina of Time. That'd be really interesting. That'd be a really interesting thing. And then you would have to update a bunch of it because you can't have all the same townspeople from Hyrule suddenly in Termina. It wouldn't make any sense. It made sense at the time because it was just like, we're going to take all of the properties from one and we're just going to port them over to the other one and we're not going to worry about it. Now you would have to worry about it. So I think that would be really interesting and give that game a chance to not be sinfully ugly. Like there's no good way to put it. Those games look like trash.
Oh, they look horrible.
And even when you run them through an engine to flatten everything out and smooth it and make it look better, it still looks bad. It's not as bad, but it's not good. Nobody would put this up as a screensaver on their computer without some kind of foreknowledge of why. You know, there would have to be some nostalgia context in order to be like, yes, I love this and I love the way it looks. No one is looking at this and saying, this looks great.
And I think that's something that not only Nintendo but PlayStation is missing out on. Well, PlayStation kind of did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. They should take games from that genre, that era, like even Super Mario 64.
Yes.
Redo the graphics to modern time, and they would sell a ton of them.
I don't know why you're not doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Because everybody's playing them on emulators. Nobody's playing them on something else. They're all playing them on emulators. Yeah. So, like, why not make them look good? Why not spruce it up a little bit?
Exactly.
You know, give yourself a chance to get some breath, get some feet under you, so you can come up with a new Zelda thing without having to feel like you need to cram it out in the next 2 years because Tears of the Kingdom was somehow already 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I don't know, man. I think you just got to do better. I think you have opportunities to do cool things here. Make a new Pokemon Stadium game. Why are we making Z to A? If you're going to have it all take place in one city, then just make Pokemon Stadium, man. Seriously. Like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. You can put a story mode in Pokemon Stadium and have it take place in one city, and we would all be like, oh, it's a Pokemon Stadium game, and it has a story mode. But because you didn't do that, now you have this redheaded stepchild over here that we're just going to throw on the pile with the other redheaded stepchildren.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I hope the Ditto game is better. I don't know, because you kind of fuck this shit up sometimes. I don't know. I want it to be good. I want to be excited about it. But sometimes you genuinely fuck this shit up.
Yeah.
And then I look at fucking Stardew Valley, and I'm just left screaming like Obadiah Stane, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Yep. And all of Nintendo is like, well, I'm not Tony Stark. And it's like, well, then maybe you should be. Maybe you should be.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my best advice. Be better.
That's the funny part with Nintendo. In a lot of their games, they are Tony fucking Stark.
Yeah.
It's just the ones that they don't decide to put the money or time into that they're not. And it's like,
I don't get it, man.
I don't get it.
Anyway. So
what do you got, sir?
I'll take the ball now. I'll receive the kickoff. I grant you 3 points for that segment. A nice field goal.
There's our only football talk of the day, folks.
Hey, the Dolphins fired their GM. That's something.
They need to burn the whole stadium down.
It's a cart fire.
Dumpster fire.
Oh my God. It's like you know what it is? It's a train fire, like in so many movies where you just see a train going down the rails and it's still on fire the whole time. And you're like, oh, that's not good. That's very bad.
Can I tell you how happy my only football thing that both fantasy games I'm playing, my opponent had Mark Andrews on the bench.
You know, credit to him. That's a man that drops those passes.
He does. Not
all the
game,
fucking
though.
Time. Not in that game. Not in that game.
That made me so happy.
So congratulations. Lamar Jackson is back. The Ravens aren't dead necessarily, and the Bills get a little bit of credibility back. Because
I think the Ravens need to play someone other than the Dolphins before I'll give them any kind of flowers.
I just am trying to glom onto anything I can because I genuinely think the Bills might miss the playoffs this year. We're recording this at 11:30 right now. It's about 11:30, so none of the games have started. So God forbid, I don't even know how the Bills are going to lose to the Chiefs today, but I know that they will.
But they can also prove that last week wasn't a fluke by going out and playing like they did last week.
And this is where I reach over and I get my tinfoil dunce cap and I put it squarely on my head and I say, But what would the NFL want to have happen,
Well,
Steve?
there you go.
What does the NFL want to have happen? They want the Chiefs to win because they want everybody to talk about the Chiefs like they are this inevitable juggernaut that will flatten everything in their path.
Can I tell you, when they beat Detroit, I stopped listening to anything football online because I knew the second that happened,
The slurping.
it would all be Chiefs. And
It's
I'm like,
all slurping.
I can't listen to that.
And
there are 31 other teams.
No one talked about any of the mitigating factors in that game.
Nope.
Everybody just talked about it like, oh, the Chiefs are back. Nobody talked about, oh, the weird Travis Kelce drop that wasn't a drop. Nobody talked about, oh, the 5 penalties that weren't called, including on the last touchdown. They talked about the fight at the end. They talked all about that, but they didn't talk about any of the instigating factors that led to the fight, like how the refs were almost clearly giving it to the Chiefs, which the Lions are used to at this point, but never makes it any less stinging when it happens. And so I'm just... My tinfoil dunce cap is off to the side now.
Yes.
I'm just saying. We'll see what happens today.
We'll see.
I did finish Ghost of Yote.
Nice.
Great ending. Great story. I love that the way that the game ends. This isn't a spoiler, but the way that the game ends is with you basically talking to one of the characters and being like, oh, I have a story about that. And it switches back to before you finished the last fight of the game, awesome. To be like, oh, and now you can go back, and this takes place before you fought the last boss of the game, so it's like still technically canon, but it's also different, and you can't go and fight the last boss of the game again because you already did that. And so it's like, okay, but there's also more stuff in the end game to do.
Gotcha.
I really like that. I will say, and the continued, is this a complaint? Is this a critique? Is this just me being picky? I don't know which of these 3 things it is, but the game does this thing that I have decided is hilarious, even if it's annoying in the moment, where it talks a lot about being honorable and the way to do honorable combat, and then immediately is like, nah, fuck that.
Nice.
So like you'll be in a fight, you're fighting this guy that's never lost. And he's like, okay, you beat me once, yes, but now we're gonna have an ultimate duel on the top of a mountain. And you're like, okay, fuck it, let's go. I'll go do this fucking fight with this guy. And you climb this mountain, you go up, you collect all these things, you finally summon him to this mountain, and you're like, okay, let's do this great last duel between the two of us. It's going to be great. It's going to be epic. And then he immediately starts trying to disarm you and attack you while you're picking up your stuff. And I'm like, Mr. Samurai Man, I have a question about this because it really feels like this is unfair and not the way you would want your last duel to go is to disarm your opponent and then strike them down with 9 million strikes from heaven. I feel like that's not especially sporting, so I don't know how that would be how you want to go out in this world if this is how the last fight's going to go for you. The last boss mission, again, this isn't a spoiler, but when you finish the first phase, he takes out his katana to show that he's serious now. And you've earned his respect enough that he's going to duel you with a katana. And I always fight with 2 katanas. That's just how I play. If I have the option for dualies, I always go dualies. And so there's a cutscene, and the main character puts away one of her swords, and now she just has the one sword out. And I'm like, okay, so this is like old school samurai movie. We are going to fight to the death. Cool, great. And then you start attacking this guy, and he pulls out a pistol and shoots you. And I'm like, hang on! Wait a minute! What the fuck was that? What was that whole thing about? Where I put away my sword and we agreed that we were going to fight each other on equal levels? What was that all about? Because then you pulled out a gun and shot me.
Because he saw Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So what the fuck was that, dude? And so meanwhile, Kelly's like, then shoot him back. And I'm like, but that's not the point. The point is that the game is telling me to do something one way and then not holding itself to that same standard at the exact same moment. And I cannot stand that. As a person who cannot stand things being unfair and has a tinfoil dunce cap devoted to how things seem unfair.
Your Ghost of Yote's tinfoil hat is right next to your Buffalo Bill.
I'm just like, but guys... Hey, maybe don't.
Oh, that is funny as hell.
So anyway, it's a good game. I like it a lot. It's really fun and has a great story.
Nice.
And I still give it an A+, despite some of me and its differing natures in terms of how
growing
we would
pains,
like to do things.
Growing pains.
Yes, we don't agree on everything. We're definitely the kind of friends where we go out for a drink, and there is definitely a 20-minute period of us shouting at each other.
Nice.
But by the end of the night, we hug, we make up, we agree to disagree, and we move on with our lives. So
Interesting.
It's a good game. I like it a lot. It's very good. I can't wait for the DLC that they're going to come out with next year. I wish it wasn't coming out next year, but here we are. We watched World War Z, the extended edition, for Halloween.
Very good movie.
I like that movie a lot. I think that it needs a new title.
Yeah, because it's nothing like the book.
I think you got to just, if you ditch that title,
yes,
and if you just call it Z-Day or something like that, that's a popular movie.
Yeah.
It's because you had the audacity to call it World War Z. That's the only reason people hate that movie. And
because, like, I understand when books and movies don't completely coincide. This movie's nothing.
This movie
zero
disregarded everything but the title of the book.
That's the only
and
thing.
you're just like, why? Then why take the title of the book and nothing else? Going back to Shane Black. This is Shane Black in another fiasco, Iron Man 3, using Iron Patriot as a character and being like, I'm going to introduce the Iron Patriot. And I'm like, I would really rather you didn't, because that means something to some of us. It's not just a name. It does have connotations.
He fucked up the Iron Patriot and the Mandarin in one fucking movie.
Yeah.
Which, that's a lot.
That's a lot. It takes some serious cojones to be like, no. I don't care about any of this stuff.
Yep.
I just want the name. I'm going to do something cool with the name. And then it's like, so your something cool is that you gave Rhodey a red, white, and blue color scheme.
Yeah, which was dumb.
And then you made the Mandarin like a fake out, and then it was a different thing that was also Extremis, but not with Ezekiel stain. What's happening? What are we doing? What is this? What's going on here? But we're not here to talk about Iron Man 3 and the fiasco that it is, or the fact that an extremely young Jenna Ortega is in that movie. It turns out that in every Iron Man movie, an actress who will later go on to be in big things shows up. And you're just like, hang on a minute.
That's true. I forget.
Is that Kate Mara in Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
It is. Is that Olivia Munn in Iron Man 1? It is. It is.
Leslie Bibb. I mean,
Leslie Bibb shows up. Yeah. So
crazy.
Anyway, we're not talking about Iron Man 3. I like World War Z a lot. I think that it has a really kinetic plot.
Yep.
In terms of like, it keeps you moving along on this train line. It is really interesting because it does take the time to set up certain things and then immediately throws them away. So it's like, oh, here's this boy genius that studies everything to do with diseases, and then he's going to shoot himself in the head. And you're just like, what the fuck was that? What was the point of that? We just had a 20-minute conversation with this guy about how smart he is and how he, like, has a raging hard-on for nature. And, like, I just left that conversation being like, you have a complicated relationship with women, don't you? They don't like you and you don't understand why.
That's still one of my favorite scenes in that movie, though.
But, like, so I did really like watching it and seeing the breadcrumbs that they leave for you, because they do... Again, in this movie that has a terrible title, given the circumstances, it's really cleverly written.
Yeah.
The way that they introduce the zombies is really dynamic and interesting. You are kind of left wondering at various times what the actual timeline of events is, because as the plot is uncovered, it seems like some people knew about this for far longer than the 3 days we're presented it with. Like how Jerusalem has an entire wall built around it now. And you're just like, how did that happen? That's interesting. I thought it'd only been 3 days. I guess it's been longer for some people, but it never made its way to Philadelphia. That news just never made its way to Philadelphia. Okay, interesting. So it's not without fault. It does have a little bit of that tropiness of like, we got to go up into this apartment building and then we're going to find this family and we're going to stay in this apartment building with this family. I'm like, I've seen 28 Days Later.
Yeah, it's a lot of cliches.
Yeah, but that being said, the way that they introduce this concept that the zombies are only interested in healthy hosts by like really subtly just kind of like laying out things here and there. And you're just like, oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That was a very interesting take on it.
My favorite thing was that they show that the zombies are extremely picky about hosts to the degree of if everybody just became an alcoholic, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
There's an alcoholic on the street. There's a hobo drinking himself to death on the street, and the zombies don't care about him.
Yeah.
Because his body is fucked. And I'm just left being like, so if we all just got like really boozed up for like a month, like a mandatory blackout period,
they would all just die.
The zombies wouldn't care about any of us because all of our livers would be fucked. And then we would just have to cut out half of our livers and then move on with our lives. So it's like one last hurrah for alcohol on the planet because nobody's going to be able to drink after this. But I do like this movie a lot. I think that desperately needs a new title, which we're going to talk about with Weapons too.
Yeah,
that was one of the things that I came away from Weapons
with.
We're going to get to that. I really like this movie, and I wish that it wasn't called World War Z. My last note is that this is a movie that has like a plethora of people where you're like, is that Matthew Fox from Lost? Yes, he's here for 1 minute and then he's gone.
Which he had a longer scene that got cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you see one of the Kens from Barbie at the very early edge of his career, just as a guy on a phone taking calls on this battleship. Ruth Negga shows up for 10 minutes, and my personal favorite, Peter Capaldi as Who Doctor.
The year before
Doctor Who. So we were watching it. There's a scene where they have to take off out of Jerusalem, right?
Yeah,
and there's a Belarusian plane. Brad Pitt goes up to the cockpit and is slamming on the door, and one of the pilots turns around, and Kelly is just looking at him. She's just looking at him. And I'm like, what? And she's like, that's Yuri from Stranger Things.
Oh, you're kidding me!
And I was like, holy shit, that is Yuri from Stranger Things.
Awesome.
Not this Katinka, but that Katinka.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a great moment of like, oh shit, that is Yuri.
That's great.
Oh my god, he looks exactly the same, just like 10 years younger.
That's fucking awesome. But yeah, the Peter Capaldi part still kills me.
It's still hilarious.
The odds of that.
It's incredible.
And the fact that he doesn't have a name, he's just Who Doctor.
Who Doctor. It's so good. There's a lot of people that don't have names in this script.
Yeah.
I'm just left kind of being like, this script must have been the weirdest thing to sell because you have all these speaking roles and none of them have names. And you're just left being like...
The thing about it is this was one of those films that was in production hell. Like they reshot a bunch at the end and whatnot. Yeah. And it still was actually successful.
It's
like
not bad.
It did good numbers.
Yeah.
Like I want to say they were very profitable for it.
And they still were able to do zombies in a way that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
The zombies climbing on top of each other like ants. We hadn't really seen that in a movie before World War Z. And so it does a good job of doing everything except adapting the text.
Which I
World War Z.
I know. That book is so fucking good.
Just make World War Z and call it something else.
They have it was actually the audiobook version of World War Z that Max Brooks directed. It has insane. The cast is like literally the who's who. He said he actually had his dad help him. He got Scorsese to do a voice.
Wow.
Like he got all these massive stars to do voices in the book. It's probably the most star-studded audiobook you'll ever listen to.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Like the book itself is so fucking good.
Yeah. Like even a motion comic at this point. Like give me something.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you've given, I know that there is a World War Z motion comic, but like I want like a full thing.
Exactly.
And like you could even call it World War Z based on the book World War Z. And we would be like, oh, a distinction between the movie and the other movie. Okay, because the other movie definitely wasn't based on World War Z. That was definitely its own thing. So go back and check that out if you haven't checked it out. Also to check out, if you've never seen it, is Over the Garden Wall, which is a staple in our house at the Halloween Thanksgiving juncture.
Okay.
So Over the Garden Wall stars Elijah Wood, Melanie Linsky, Christopher Lloyd, John Cleese, Tim Curry. A bunch of people show up to do voices in it, and it's this. It's technically 10 parts, but each part is about 12 minutes long. So it's 10, 12-minute long episodes. And it's just these two boys wandering through this magical wood, trying to find their way home. And it's just beautiful. It's like, again, going back to that kind of like creepy aesthetic. The aesthetic of it is definitely creepy. You know, it's not pretty. It's not like gorgeous to look at. It's creepy. It has kind of like a Burton-y quality without all the long limbs and everything. But it is just a gorgeous series of stories. They're all very silly. The writing is really good. There's often music. There's a lot of music throughout the show.
Oh, it's an Amazon Prime.
It was on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
And
it's on Prime Video now.
It's on Prime Video. I think it's on Hulu as well. God, if you've never seen Over the Garden Wall, check it out because it is... It was of that era when, right after Adventure Time came out, Cartoon Network went to basically all the animators at Adventure Time and said, what else you got? And they all got to submit things. And so you had Steven Universe, you had Over the Garden Wall, you had, I can never remember what the wrestling one is called. There's a wrestling one too that came out around the same time. And it's just all of these really clever, really well written, really caring stories. And Over the Garden Wall is just full of that, of just like, there's, stupid kid problems, but there's also like real adventure and deep sadness and betrayal and, kind of this like doom and gloom over the entire thing. The idea that adults aren't infallible, that adults are very easy to trick. They're as easy to trick as kids, but they don't think that they are. And so it's just like, it's really clever in its writing. It's really beautiful in its storytelling. And I just love the two main characters. Wirt and Greg are just wonderful. They're half brothers. There's an episode where they go to a tavern and everybody sings their stories. And so you have Elijah Wood trying to sing this story about him and his half brother. And he's just like, he's my brother because my mom got divorced and married his dad and then had him. But it's like that kind of tone. Yeah. There's one of my favorites is they show up to this tavern and there's a guy in a bandit mask looking out the window and you're like, that's weird and creepy. And when they start singing, Elijah Wood's character Wirt is like, what do you mean singing? And this guy from the corner just goes, I'm the highwayman. What? I'm the highwayman. I make ends meet like any other man. I work with my hands. And you're just like,
what the fuck?
This is amazing. Yeah. I love this, and it's so creepy.
Yeah.
Knock you out, steal your shoes from off your feet. And it's like, I think I love everything about this show. It's so good.
It's insane.
It's I think a great exemplifier of the entire thing is early on in the show. Again, this is the kind of nature of the show. They find a schoolhouse where all the students are animals in children's clothes. And they're all being taught how to spell and write and play instruments. And their lunch is just potatoes. It's just mashed potatoes. Okay. And so one of the boys gets a thing of molasses and starts mixing it in with the potatoes. And he has an entire song about potatoes and molasses. And at the end of the story, during one of the high drama moments, this song plays again. But it's in Latin. It's in Latin in a lower key. And so it's very dark and morose, but the dialogue is still potatoes and molasses. And it's just like, this is so fucking great. I love this so much. So definitely, if you've never seen Over the Garden Wall, you got to check it out. It's fucking great. It's perfect for this time of year. It's spooky enough for Halloween, but it also has like this very fall atmosphere the entire way through. It's very autumn based. So it's fucking great. If you've never seen it, you got to check it out. A few quick hitters to go off of here because these are just like kind of, I just want to knock them into the goal. I started watching Spectacular Spider-Man again. It's my favorite Spider-Man. If you've never seen Spectacular Spider-Man, check it out. It's the reason why I hate the Tom Holland Spider-Mans is because the show shows you what you can do with this character very soon after he gets his powers. And without losing anything and instead reinforcing everything with characterization.
Gotcha.
And it's so good. Check it out. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's on Disney Plus. Check it out. We watched It 2017 in preparation for Welcome to Derry. I'm very excited for Welcome to Derry. And God, that movie is so good.
That first one's amazing.
It doesn't lose a bit.
Nope.
Not anything off the top spin. It's so good. The entire way through, it's so good. And Bill Skarsgård is incredible. I did hear an interesting story about Stellan Skarsgård. I don't know if you've heard this. He had a stroke recently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He has memory issues now. So now all of his lines have to be fed to him in an earpiece.
Oh, no.
And so he says he's going to keep acting, that he loves acting too much to walk away from it. But, keep a candle out for Stellan Skarsgård because
I still never forget the first movie I ever saw him in was Hunt for Red October.
Oh, my God. He's so good in that. He's so good in that. You fool. Russian. You've killed us.
Oh. Fucking that sucks. I love that guy.
I know. And the progeny.
Oh, he's got
There's a third. Yeah, there's a third Skarsgård son coming up, and I think a grandson to boot as well. So, anyway, that's keep a candle out for Stellan Skarsgård. And then I just wanted to talk Rocky Horror. We rewatched Rocky Horror, and you and I had discussed Rocky Horror recently. That is such a fascinating movie.
It really is.
Granted, I was going in and out because I was very sleepy when we were watching it the night before Halloween, or I guess it was Halloween night we were watching it, and that was after I had gone through all of the everything. So it was like the end of the night, and I was just tired. I was just very tired. But that is a fascinating movie.
Well, like you said about Monster Squad, it is a movie of its generation.
It's very much of its time. But at the same time, it so fully embraces itself in what it wants to be. And so it really does have this mentality of like, this is who I am. Love me or leave me. I don't fucking care. And you're just like, all right, okay, I guess so. The ending is still, I didn't mind it as much on this, I think my third or fourth watch through of it, which is still in baby terms for Rocky Horror. People fucking watch that thing like I watch The Simpsons. God, there are just so many moments where you're just kind of left being like, what's happening now? The narration element of it, where you're just like, this seems important and yet not at all important to what's happening. And the narrator explaining the dance moves and all these. You're just kind of like, okay, this is...
there were a lot of drugs in the making of that movie.
Yeah.
There's nothing cohesive about
everything.
that film.
Everything about Riff Raff, I was trying to follow Riff Raff's characterization in this. I was just like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. So you're the butler... and you're helping out with all of this, and then at the very end you turn on him. I don't, and you just start shooting people, and just people are just dead. Yeah, people are just dead everywhere. The Brad and Janet of it all, and you're just like, were they mind wiped when they went through the Medusa ray? What is going on here? I'm so confused by everything. Yeah, when Meatloaf literally just drives out of a freezer, apropos of literally nothing, and you're just like,
it's fucking out there.
I'm fucking lost, man.
Yeah. No, that movie's fucking out there.
Yeah, so, but, always worth a watch.
It's one you have to see.
You have to see it.
You have to see it.
It's definitely one of those, like, in the, as a film student, you do have to watch this one in the same way that you have to watch Rear Window, because it's important to see how different people take filming to its ultimate zenith. Yeah. And I think that this movie, in the same way as Rear Window, takes its very specific vision of film to its ultimate conclusion, which is why it has the weird fucking ending that makes no sense that it has.
And I think of all things, and it gets downplayed too much for me, is this was as iconic a performance by Tim Curry any actor has had in any role.
Oh, yeah.
He is so perfect. I mean, unbelievable.
He all at once is magnetic and terrifying.
Yeah.
When he's chasing after Eddie, it's legitimately terrifying. Yeah. When he shows up, it's kind of overwhelming to see him. You're just like, this is a lot, dude. This is a lot.
His charisma was just off the charts.
And then when he, like, I always forget that he's the priest at the wedding at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So he's just standing there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck is happening?
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. So anyway, definitely check it out. It's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I can deeply appreciate why other people like it. The last thing I wanted to bring up is that the World Series just ended. And I watched all of the last game. I watched a lot of this World Series. I fell asleep during a lot of it because so much of it went to extra innings. The biggest takeaways I had from this World Series are, 1, anybody who says that 18-inning games are stupid and we shouldn't do them in the World Series, you're a baby?
Yes.
You're a baby. If you can't stand up and take care of yourself, baby, go back to the back of the line and find a wet nurse who can take care of you, because I'm not interested. So many of the same people that have been pounding their chest over stupid NFL takes are the same people that watched that game and they were like, oh, it's too long. No. It's too long. No, fuck you.
An extra inning Game 7 game is like the apex of what you want.
They want to put ghost runners on.
Oh, that's so dumb.
It's fucking stupid. So you just get a single and you win? That's fucking... You have the opposite problem that the NFL has. The NFL can't figure out its overtime system either, but they can't figure it out in a fair way. Yeah. You have it so it's so fair that it sometimes takes hours to finish a game. They played 2 full games to finish one game. This was an 8-game World Series, except the third game was just 2 games. Yeah. And anybody who doesn't like that, I get it. The game ended at 3 a.m. I also know that, according to the NBA, this is a highlight-driven society. And a lot of people logged on to watch the highlights of that game afterwards. Yep. So you can't tell me that engagement was down. I think that any tampering with this, you're insane. Yeah. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want playoff baseball to be. You want it to be intense, drawn out. You want it to be a slugfest. You want it to be 2 teams just throwing punches. And whoever's standing at the end of all the volleys is the winner. And that's what we got.
And front and center, you have the superstar of all superstars.
The greatest baseball player
Quite
of
literally.
all time. Not an understatement.
Nope.
Not an overreaction. The greatest baseball player of all time. How great is he? He didn't even have that great a World Series, but just the fact that he was there.
Yeah. But his moments, I mean, he had the multiple home run game.
Yep.
And then yesterday, he gave up 3 runs pitching, but then he had 2 hits. And you're like...
Well, and you look at Game 4 that he pitched after Game 3. So they had this marathon Game 3 that Shohei Ohtani played the entire game of.
Yep.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, Shohei Ohtani is a pitcher who also hits 50 home runs a year.
Yeah. He's one of the best hitters
So
in the
you've
league.
never heard of this before. How unheard of is he?
And he got traded for some fucking reason.
Well, because the Angels... No, he didn't get traded. This was the thing. Was that the Angels had him and Mike Trout for fucking ever. Years. We're talking like 4 or 5 years they had these 2 players who are universally thought of as the 2 greatest players of baseball on the planet. And the Angels are such a poorly run organization that the entire time they couldn't do anything with it.
Yep.
But they also refused to let Shohei go. And so Shohei went into free agency.
That's right. It was free agent move.
They got nothing. He left, and they got nothing for him.
That might go down as the greatest free agent pickup in the history of all sports.
Well, in ironic twist, who was it between? It was between L.A., the Dodgers, and the Toronto Blue Jays, who thought they really had a chance because even though they're in Canada and Shohei is very particular about the weather that he plays in, he wants it to be warm, he wants it to be outdoors, he wants it to be a year-long thing where he can go out and train all year long and not have to worry about the weather. That's California. That's certainly not Toronto. That's not Toronto.
Nope.
But Toronto thought, we have a dome. We can make this work. We're very clever. We can make this work. And Shohei just was like, nah, we're not doing this, man. So, and that happened like 3 or 4 times afterwards with the Dodgers and Blue Jays, where they would be going after the same player, and that player would choose the Dodgers over the Blue Jays. So all of this culminated last night in, once again, another extra innings game. So I want to set the scene a little bit. It's daylight savings time. Kelly has gone to bed. The dogs have gone to bed. I am alone. I am just sitting here enjoying a few earthly delights. And I'm watching baseball. I love baseball. I love playoff baseball. I love watching the World Series. The only thing that was missing was in-shell peanuts.
Oh,
that was like
right.
that was the thing.
Little Cracker Jacks.
When I was a kid, we would eat in-shell peanuts and watch baseball playoffs.
Yep.
Every year. I love that. I cherish those memories, and that was the only thing missing from this year was that I had already eaten all of my in-shell peanuts and I hadn't gotten more. So I'm watching this game, and it's like the 7th inning, and the Blue Jays are winning, and winning decisively. It's 3-1. And then there's a home run, and you're like, okay, 3-2. And then the Blue Jays score again. Okay, 4-2. This is how a lot of these games have gone, is the Dodgers have great pitching when it's on. When it's on.
When it's on.
But the Blue Jays always have big bats. Always have big bats, and they're not going to lie. And they swing hard. And this is becoming euphemism central, and I don't mean for it to,
Yes,
but here we are.
Yes, you do.
So anyway, you know the Blue Jays are just going to keep on scoring runs. Well, the Dodgers work their way back in, and now it's 4-4. And you're like, okay. And we get to the end of the 9th, and you're like, really, Jays? You got nothing? The Jays got nothing. And you're left being like, okay, the Dodgers have reached that point where this is it. This is the last game of the season. We don't care about our rotation of pitchers. Next man up is the next starter. Whoever would have been the next starter, he's coming in next. And then the next starter after that. And then the next guy after that. So it's none of these middle relievers, none of these guys. They don't have a Mariano Rivera type. So they're just putting out their starters, their best pitchers. And 10th, 11th, and then finally another home run by the Dodgers. And you're like, okay, all right. But I still expect the Blue Jays to come back and hit another one. Opening swing by Vlad Guerrero Jr., which is like, I grew up watching Vlad Guerrero. So the only thing that I look at with Vlad Guerrero Jr. is like, could you not wear batting gloves? I know it's your dad is a different person, but like that was the coolest shit was that Vlad Guerrero came up, no armor, no tech, no gear.
He was a tank.
He just came up with a big swing and just cracked it out of the park every fucking time. So Vlad Guerrero Jr. comes up, he belts one into the corner, and you're like, here we go. He gets to second. They bunt him to third. Okay, here we go. They just got to get him around. They don't fucking do it.
Yep.
They don't fucking do it. They hit into a double play, and that's it. And everybody in Toronto, this full stadium, is just left silent. And everybody, because I legitimately was just sitting here being like, okay, but the Dodgers are going to blow it, because the Dodgers always fucking blow it. I know they won a World Series last year, whatever. This year, the Dodgers have blown it in this series on numerous occasions. Yeah. So they're going to blow it. Nope. They didn't do it.
Played in the game.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely shooketh after that. I was supposed to watch Weapons. It was midnight at that point.
That's a 2-hour fucking movie too.
And I was like, I got to take a minute and process what I just watched from this baseball game. I can't
believe you watched Weapons.
I know. So, but go and check it out. The highlights for this World Series are spectacular. Yeah. Well worth checking out. The Blue Jays are just such a dynamic team when it comes to swinging the bat. And that, to me, it's so interesting. And this is where I'll leave off. It's so fascinating because I found myself unable to keep from rooting for the Dodgers. And in this game, all of me is thinking, well, I should be rooting for the Blue Jays because A, they're the underdog. B, if there were a local team to us, it would be the Blue Jays. Yeah. And yet, and they play the version of baseball I like. I'm not here for pitching duels. I'm here for who can hit the ball the furthest, the hardest, over and over and over again. I am here for a home run derby. Yeah. These are all reasons to root for the Blue Jays, and yet, because of Shohei Ohtani, I can't help, and Freddie Freeman to a degree, but mostly Shohei Ohtani, I can't help but root for the Dodgers. And so it was a fascinating World Series. I very much enjoyed it, and I guess fuck the Boston Red Sox. That's the only thing I'm with.
Nice. Way to go. Yeah. That's a good way to end that. Fantastic. All right, folks. So now we got to move on. We got to go to our final film of our Halloween Havok 2025, which we had talked about this in the beginning that we were going to finish with this, and we are. It's Weapons. Written and directed by Zach Cregger, which it took me a second to think about Zach Cregger, and then I looked up and I remember he did Barbarian.
That's why this felt so familiar.
Which is a very familiar feeling film to this.
Oh, he's from The White Kids You Know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was from The Whitest Kids You Know. That's why he looks so familiar. He's another one of these guys that started in comedy and took the Jordan Peele approach
to do
where horror and comedy, according to Jordan Peele, are basically the same thing, just with different outcomes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is... There will be spoilers in this because it's really tough to tell this story without spoilers. So just so you're aware, if you've not seen it, it is going to be a spoiler-filled. Do you want to do our reviews right away?
We'll do a quick review, yeah.
So a quick review. The name I give an F. The movie I give an A.
I would agree with this. I think the name is garbage.
It does not fit this
movie.
The
name is hot garbage, and the movie itself is so complicated.
Yes.
I walked away from it trying to figure out how I felt about it.
And it does and does not have a happy ending.
Yeah.
It's very okay.
That was where I came out too. Was I finished and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And my second thought was, would I watch this again? Because it's so interesting. Recently there have been a lot of movies where I give them high grades, but I would never watch them again.
Yes.
The one that's at the top of the list for me is Poor Things. I love Poor Things. I think Poor Things is a fascinating movie. It's really well written. It's really creepy. It's a little gross, and I don't know if I would ever watch it again. It's just does that make it a bad movie? No, but I'm also not going out to put it in my pantheon of films to watch whenever I want. So is it bad? No, it's in fact a really good movie, but it is going to leave you feeling some stuff.
Yeah. So I think we can hit the spoilers we have to put this all into perspective. It is a witch movie.
This was where I was going to.
It's about a witch.
And they kind of bring that up in the initial to the point where it made me wonder why they called it Weapons. Because to go over the beginning premise of the film, you have 17 kids disappear out of one class.
Yes.
So they just don't show up the next day.
Everyone except for one boy.
One boy.
Which right there, I knew there had to be a
connection. The boy is definitely involved.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something going on here. So the teacher is being attacked by all of the parents who think that she has some inherent knowledge of the situation that she is keeping from them for whatever reason.
Which was heartbreaking because she's this young, just sweet teacher that everyone is like calling names and threatening.
And like being really aggressive.
Really fucking aggressive.
Really aggressive to the point where it's just like, what do you think she's going to be able to do? There's nothing she can do for you in this situation. So she goes home after getting some booze. And which was like my first thought was like the other teachers tell her, go straight home. Don't, lock the door, go straight home. Don't answer the door for anybody. And she does none of these things. She goes to the liquor store first, picks up booze.
Yeah.
And then goes home and then gets a series of knocks and ringing on her bell and goes and opens the door. And I'm like, don't open the door. And then she leaves her house to go and inspect her car because someone has written witch on it in red paint. And it's at this point where I'm like, this movie should not be called Weapons.
No.
This movie should be called Witch Hunt.
Yes.
There is immediately a premise delivered that there is witchery going on here.
Yes.
All right. You, within the body of the film, present it as the logical conclusion is that they call her a witch. So call it Witch Hunt, because then all of the stuff with the parents attacking her and everything else, then it makes sense. It runs thematically with the plot. Weapons means nothing.
Yeah.
Weapons is said once offhandedly by Josh Brolin, almost as a bit.
With looking at a gun in the sky.
That was so like, what dumb. The fuck is happening?
That was the filmmaker going, we need to tie this title to the fucking movie. So we got to go. So the witch gets these kids because she's living off their life force.
Yes.
But I think where they get the stupid title from is she can use them as weapons.
Yeah.
Anyone that's under her spell, she can use them as weapons. But once again, it doesn't fit the movie. Title.
It's like how Josh Brolin, the way that this is delivered to us is by Josh Brolin saying they're like heat-seeking missiles.
Yes.
They're weapons.
They're weapons.
And you're like, that's where the title comes from?
Yeah.
That sucks shit, man.
That really sucks shit.
That's bad. That's so bad. I spent about 20 minutes before I came up with Witch Hunt. And I was like, Witch Hunt is a way better name for this movie than anything else, because it feeds into not just the witch in the story, but also the way that all these people are treating this teacher who's not an innocent person, but is innocent of this crime.
Yes.
And I think that's what is most interesting about this movie is that no one here is truly innocent. Everybody here has faults. Now, whether those faults are tied back to the crime itself is another story. But all of them are deeply flawed human beings.
Well, and what I loved, going off of what you just said, is I love that's how they portrayed the kids that get abducted, because they're all dicks to this little kid that his parents are, it's his aunt who's the witch. But it's like, they're all absolute fucking, especially Josh Brolin's son. You like really feel bad for Josh Brolin. Then you see how his son acts and you're like, he's a fucking bully and a dick.
Well, you get like that dream sequence for Josh Brolin, which has the AR-15 floating over the house and all these other things. Like that dream sequence is interesting.
Yeah.
But that's where you get like so much of his storyline where he is like just begging his son to forgive him for not saying, I love you more.
Yeah.
And then when his son is a bully in school, you're like, oh,
no, I totally get it. Exactly.
Okay, so he's been a dick the whole time.
Yeah.
He's just a different flavor of dick now that his kid is gone, but he's been terrible the whole time.
Yep.
And it's an interesting story. It's almost a Rashomon, except that all the lines come up to one point.
Yes.
Instead of having kind of this disparate, like what actually happened is somewhere in between the folds.
Yeah.
It's like, no. We hear this story from a bunch of different perspectives, but they all end in the same place.
And I do like I gotta say, originally my favorite Alden Ehrenreich movie was his bit part he had in Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. This might be my favorite as just this tortured cop who's a recovering alcoholic, whose ex-girlfriend is the teacher.
Yeah.
And he hooks up with her, and his current girlfriend / fiance, or no, are they married?
I think they're married.
I think they're married. His wife is the police chief who he works for's daughter, who's also an actress.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird thing, but he's just this really tortured. And the whole scene with him, with the homeless guy where he gets stuck and he punches him in the fucking head because he gets so mad. And then you're like, okay, so he also has rage issues.
Yeah.
On top of being a recovering alcoholic.
Well, like he presents himself as so put together.
Yes.
Where he's
At
like,
first,
I'm
so
doing everything right.
Yes.
I'm doing all the things right. Even when he chases down this guy, he does it the right way.
Yes.
Right? And then when he gets stuck, that's when everything goes to shit because I guess he has a blood phobia of some kind, or
he's afraid of getting AIDS.
Yeah,
he's so terrified.
Yeah, and so he punches the shit out of this junkie, and then immediately starts unhooking his cameras and everything. And you're like, oh, so you just are as bad as everybody else.
Yeah,
you're just as bad as everybody. And then he tries to make a deal with the junkie, and he's like, listen, you crossed me, I crossed you, we both crossed the line. Let's just call it even, and we'll move away from it. But, like, the junkie storyline was also really interesting. When the junkie breaks into the house,
dude,
that scene was just like, what is going on?
That was intense.
What is going on with all of this shit? And then there's the parents, and he finds a DVD of Willow, and you're like, is this going to play into it some way? I'm thinking back to all the Bad Morva stuff, and I'm like, where's this going? It also, I guess the through line is that there's witches. The whole of it is just so engrossing.
Yeah.
You definitely don't look away the entire time. And at the same time, it's so gut-wrenching in moments. When I do
Wong
love...
and his boyfriend?
I do love that we have 3 Celestial Marvel characters.
Yeah,
so you have
that's right.
You have Thanos calls out the Silver Surfer, who is working for Wong.
That's right. I forgot about that. And you have Han Solo fucking.
And Han Solo shows up too, just in case.
Yeah.
No, but like when we go through Wong's storyline, you're like, oh shit. Oh fuck.
Dude.
Oh, this is where this is going? Oh no. And he just like has a really nice family life. And they just, when his husband brings out like a tray of 9 hot dogs, I'm just like, oh, this is beautiful. And they're talking about cordyceps. These guys are fucked. These guys are fucked. They're so fucked. They don't even know how fucked they are.
I didn't expect Wong to headbutt his husband's face into nothingness.
Yeah.
Like that was like, holy shit. And the sound.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wong's eyes.
Yeah, the bulging eyes.
That's so creepy.
Dude.
That's so creepy. And, like, that was the thing that made you, like, to me anyway, that was the thing that was most upsetting. Was that it's that idea of not only is there a monster, the monster is someone that is pure and innocent in a lot of ways. You know, when Alex the boy, when his parents are taken, you're just like, these were just nice people.
Yeah.
They didn't. The worst thing was that the husband was like, I don't want to deal with your weird fucking aunt who's creepy and I don't like her and she gives me the skivvies and I don't like it.
He was fucking right.
He was fucking right. He
right.
knew he was bringing the wolf into the house.
Yeah.
And the makeup on her
is
so garish, which is the point. So when I went to watch this, the main screen for, you know, the movie and everything on Movies Anywhere is Alex wearing the makeup of his aunt, the witch. And I finished the baseball game and I went to turn this on and I saw that and I looked at the clock and it was like 12:30 in the morning and I was like, is this a good idea? This might not be a good idea, but we went forward anyway.
Dude. It took me a minute too to realize that was Amy Madigan.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are unaware of just by name, she's Kevin Costner's wife in Field of Dreams. That's who Amy Madigan is. But she plays the aunt, and holy shit, the makeup on her is fucking unbelievable.
Just awful. Just
dude, the scene when Josh Brolin goes to the house and the kids are in the basement, and he goes to that dark corner, and she just pops out of it.
Yeah,
it scared the living shit out of me.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
Oh my god! So the reason I laugh is because the moment that scared me the most was I was watching this, and it was a moment where, I think it was after the junkie broke into the house. And so you know something's going to happen, but you don't know what. And so you're just waiting. And my headphones were dying, and I was listening to it on my headphones. I didn't keep up anybody in the house. And so I'm just watching this dark scene of this kid looking around in this house. And suddenly my headphones are like, battery low. And I'm like, oh my God, Jesus fucking...
That's good time.
Okay, we're okay. Everything's fine.
Oh, that's fucking funny. That is so fucking funny.
No, I like this movie a lot. I do struggle with elements of it. Just like, not in terms of like whether I like them or not, but just in terms of like, I can't even put my finger on it. There's just something about it that I feel like didn't coalesce in a satisfying way to me. Like, the movie ended and I was like, okay, the story's over, and I agree that the story's over, but at the same time I feel kind of let down in a weird way, and I don't know why.
Because once again, it was a happy and not happy ending. So at the end, the witch gets brutally killed.
Oh my God! By a group
and that's
of
the thing about this
12-year-olds.
movie is it doesn't really have a lot of violence. There are two scenes that are so brutal that it makes up for like all the other lack of violence.
Wong killing his husband and then running across town.
Yes, and then the kids literally ripping the witch apart, like ripping her face off.
This group of 17, 12-year-olds just literally ripping this woman apart.
Blood. Like, those kids are going to be scarred for fucking life just by filming that scene.
Yeah, just by filming the scene. I was going to say, if in character story, that's assuming that they come back to themselves, because at the end of this story, it's revealed that they're all still under the spell.
Like, the parents are pretty much Neville's parents in Harry Potter, and they're just in a home and catatonic. And then some of the kids start talking again, but some don't. Yeah. And it's like they're so fucked up from this.
I think that was a part of it, was that, like, and again, this is the story being well written and well told, is the final part, which is Alex's part. We go through all these different characters. Which was funny because Justine's section is the first section, and her section was so long that when Archer's name came up, I was like, what the fuck is happening now? Right, we're doing the title cards. Okay, that's what's happening. But when we get to Alex's section of the story, it's so dark and malevolent. And, like, watching him feed his parents, watching him struggle to open cans of soup, and you're just like...
I felt for that kid so bad.
Jesus fucking Christ. Good fucking God. Yeah. Oh my God. And no one's coming to help him. No one can help him. There's nothing that can be done to help him. And even when help does arrive, it doesn't really do anything for him. He still has to solve all of his own problems. You know, Justine comes up and sees him after he's done everything he needed to do to solve the problem. But, like, the desperation of that moment was so dark and malevolent to me that it almost, like, it was too dark. Yeah. And not in a, like, I don't like this movie now, but in a, man, this is a really good movie, but this sucks. This, like, that's how you know this is a good movie, is because it makes you feel this way. Yeah. So it has to be a good movie, because otherwise you wouldn't have this emotional reaction to this situation that you're in. But damn, son.
Well, and, like, the part that I loved about the ending is it kind of hinted towards potentially him having these abilities, because he uses her wand to have the kids attack her. Yeah. Like, he uses her powers pretty much to work against her. And it's like, all right, what does that mean,
Where does this go?
Like, is he, because he's obviously going to be immensely traumatized for the remainder of his life. Is he going to turn into what she was?
There's also this element where they say that he goes to live with his other aunt, who's a good aunt.
Good witch.
And this was where my brain went. Willow, the good witch and the evil witch. Yep. You know, there's always a good one and there's always an evil one. Yep. We took care of the evil one, so what's going on with the good one? And just so many elements of this that I found fascinating. I will say, it almost went too far at the end in this isn't serious anymore, this is now funny, and I don't think that this is the right tone. When the kids are just ripping through every building in the neighborhood and just jumping through every glass panel and exploding through every door, I was like, okay, I think we've gone too far in another direction. Yeah. I don't know what this is, but you have all these scenes of this witch running through this suburban neighborhood screaming, and all these people turning and looking at her, being followed by 17 children all screaming after her. And I'm just left being like, I'm so conflicted inside, because I'm worried about the kids. I'm worried about what this spell is doing to them. Yeah. I'm worried about the implications of everything that's going on with this. But this is also objectively hilarious.
Yeah. It was a horror movie version of Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
At the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, like, even Josh Brolin walking through people's houses.
And the women freaking out. There's a
guy in the house now! And I'm just like, is this supposed to be funny? Yeah. Is this supposed to be dramatic? Am I supposed to be worried about the witch? Is this revenge porn? I don't know what this is supposed to be tonally. I just can't tell.
Yeah.
because it's so over the top watching these children explode like the Hulk through these houses.
Yeah.
And you're just left being like, what I don't know what to do with this, man. Yeah. I don't know. It's all this drama and all this fear and all this tension, and then this very kind of silly ending that becomes gruesome again.
Oh my God.
And you're just left being like, I think that's why I kind of walked out of this movie being like, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because that whole section of the movie, it's how I imagine a lot of people felt after 28 years later when the Power Rangers showed up. And you were like, okay, so we had all this beauty and all this darkness and all this, like, the balance and darkness of light and of life and all these other elements. And then the Power Rangers show up and you're like, what the fuck what's happening? Yeah. That's kind of how I felt here, of just like, so are all the kids okay?
Yeah.
Because they just like ransacked an entire neighborhood. I feel like some of them should be dead. I feel like some of them should be mortally wounded. You know, this is I don't know. These kids all suddenly became Arnold Schwarzenegger or the Juggernaut.
It was interesting.
It was a fascinating way to end the movie. I also kind of like, again, you know, we can get into semantics of Josh Brolin gets controlled at the end of the movie, but he comes back to himself like immediately. So is it a timing issue? Is it time spent under the spell?
It's like if you're under the spell for a length of time, because the parents were under the spell for like
the longest of anybody.
Weeks.
Yeah.
Well, the 17 kids were gone for
a month.
So the parents were under for over a month.
Yeah.
And the kids were under for a month. So him only being under for like an hour, or not even like 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah. I could see that, like him snapping back quick. But yeah, no, it was like I said, I enjoyed it. I agree with you. I don't know if I'll ever, like, it's not on my list to necessarily watch.
I'm not going to come back to this next Halloween and watch it again.
It might be a next Halloween thing because overall, it was a really good witch story.
Yes.
Which once you look at it as that, you're like, okay, you know, there's not a lot of good witch movies.
Which, again, I feel like is an undermining of the name Weapons.
Yeah.
Where it's like, by calling it Weapons, you kind of rob your audience of some level of agency into what they're getting into. Which, again, I understand. I understand why you would do that, right? I get it. But at the same time, it does feel like I can't understand what this movie is because this movie is parading around like it's something else.
Yeah.
And you're just like, not in terms of like it's promoting itself as not a horror movie, but in terms of like the name that it has means nothing.
Yeah.
It means nothing within the body of the plot. And I don't know. It's complicated. It's definitely a tricky movie. But like if I were to look at this versus Late Night with the Devil, I would much rather watch Late Night with the Devil again than watch this again. You know, what does that say? I don't know. I don't know what that says. But, like, in terms of the two, there's one that I would much rather watch than the other one. And it's not because Weapons is a bad movie. I think it's because it's too good a movie.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
But, and I just wanted to double check something because I do remember now that, so the aunt's name is Gladys. They could have just called the movie Gladys.
Yeah, Gladys would have also worked.
And the whole beginning is you're like, who the fuck is Gladys?
Who the fuck is Gladys?
And then when you start to hear these things, you're like, oh, I'm starting to say it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, Weapons was a terrible name.
Weapons is a terrible name for this movie.
That's up there with Wii U. It's like the worst names ever.
It's just terrible. Yeah. You remember when they came out with the iPad?
Yeah.
It's same level of like, just Jesus Christ, guys. How did you come up? You had so many people in a room all talking about this, and this was where you ended up? How did everybody come to this conclusion?
Yeah.
Who was the producer? Because what I really want to know is, what was this movie called in its script form? This really feels like a producer coming along afterwards and saying like, no, we can't call it that. We got to call it this.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? I don't get it. The title sucks. The title is terrible. The movie's great. The title is terrible.
And then, you know, part of me, I'm a very happy person and I appreciate happy endings, but part of me does also like it when the bad guy wins. Mm-hmm. And kind of in a little way, the bad guy won in this because the kids and the adults are so fucked up after this.
Well, like the last line of the movie is some of the kids started talking a year later.
Yeah.
That's the last line of this movie.
Yep.
Jesus,
but they don't say like how much or
how
what
much,
condition.
what,
yep.
You know, what level of cognitive nature they had after this. And it's just, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But Justin Long showed up for no reason.
Dude,
that was hilarious.
So weird.
I was just like, what the fuck? I looked it up. His his wife, Justin Long's wife in the movie, is the wife of the filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
So that's why she's here. But Justin Long showed up, and I was like,
that was really...
I'm a Mac? What's I'm a Mac doing
Well, and
here?
I was expecting him to maybe, like, okay, now that he's introduced, does he have a bigger
He's going to be a part of... No, he's gone.
Yep.
He comes in because his wife in the story won't let Josh Brolin look at their security tapes. So Josh Brolin waits for the dumb husband to come home and then is like, hey, we know each other. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, I kind of do know you. Yeah, come on in. We'll look at your tapes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And then he never comes back again.
Nope.
And I love Justin Long, but I was just like, why is... Okay. No, it's fine. I'm not going to get hung up on this, but it's... I don't know why he's here. Yeah. I'm not sure what that is.
And what's weird about it is the day before I saw this movie, I don't know why, I got on this thing of watching... It popped up on my YouTube a couple days ago of the launch of the first iPhone. Mm-hmm. So I thought I would watch it again just for fun to see, all the... And... Oh, it's because recently I saw the BlackBerry movie.
Okay,
and it ends with the launch of the iPhone, so I thought I'd rewatch that again. That commercial, all of the commercials of I'm a Mac and I'm a PC came up and I watched like a bunch of them, not all of them, because it's like 18 minutes long commercials. But I watched it right before the fucking Justin Long thing, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then he shows up for 2 seconds.
He just shows up with a goatee, and then he's gone. And you're like, was that Justin Long? He's just gone. I love Justin Long. I do. The last thing I wanted to say on this is I think the most fascinating part, not the most fascinating part, I think one of the really interesting elements of this movie is the relationship people have with each other.
Yes.
Where, like, since everybody's flawed, all of the relationships are deeply flawed.
Yep.
And so you look at Justine and Paul, and they are just two extremely flawed people who hang out and have sex on occasion.
But that's why I loved when they separated their two stories, because when Justine's story ended, it looked like Paul had turned down having a drink and was just going to, like, leave. Yeah. But then when you go to his story, after he got stuck, and then he gets drunk and fucks her, and you're like, oh, okay.
That's where this is all going.
Because you have a certain view of him, and then that completely changed.
Yeah, where did this all come from?
Oh, my God.
He's an alcoholic. Oh, he's in an unhappy marriage. Oh,
yes.
His boss is his father-in-law. Okay, dude. I'm starting to see the pieces come together. And so but again... Really well-written movie. Yeah. Terrible fucking title. Yep. Really well-written movie. I'd give it an A-. I'm going to dock it a little bit for the title, and I don't know why. It's just...
I would probably say the same thing. I like I said, the movie's an A, the title's an F. I think that puts it at an A-.
Yeah.
Because the title's so fucking bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right with this would be a movie that come scary season.
Yeah.
I'll rewatch it just because, once again, there's not... Like, there is the movie The Witch, but even that isn't... As much as I love that movie, it's not a great, like, witch story.
I was about to say, what I would love to see is, like, a lineup. So it's like The Vitch, the V-Vitch, whatever you want to call it, The Witch, Witches, the Roald Dahl.
The original.
With
not
Angelica
the remake.
Houston.
Yes, the remake doesn't fucking exist in my life.
This movie, Witch Hunt, or Weapons, or whatever you want to fucking call it, we'll throw Willow in there. For a little flavor. And then we'll finish off with the adventures of Hermione Granger. And it's like, these are all witches. Take whichever one you want.
Take Hermione Granger. Let's finish with Wicked.
Okay, Wicked. Wicked's better. Wicked's better. And it matches thematically with everything else that we're doing.
And it'll lighten the tone at the end after watching Weapons. So. So it's a good movie. So, folks, that was Halloween Havoc 2025. Really hope you enjoy. Once again, next week, come back because we're going to have a little bonus content because we won't be discussing, hopefully, Frankenstein, which comes out on the 7th, which is Friday. Right?
We're going to cram a Santa hat on Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And be like, it's topical, guys.
I can't fucking wait.
I'm so excited.
Apparently,
I saw an interview with Guillermo del Toro talking about the production of this movie. And apparently, up into, like, shooting, Andrew Garfield was going to be the monster.
Really?
And they had already made all the prosthetics and everything for him, and then he had to pull out at the last minute. And so there are scenes that they shot in northern Germany, I want to say, that they went back and they added the monster afterwards because the setting was so perfect when they showed up. But the monster, they didn't have a monster.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, we're going to shoot all of Dr. Frankenstein's stuff in this incredible location because we only have like 2 hours because it was all foggy and all this other stuff. And according to Del Toro, the moment they wrapped on it, the fog lifted. And he was like, this movie's going to take care of itself.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So.
That's amazing. I can't wait. All right, folks, NerdPod Generations 177 is in the books. Please go to nerdpodgen.com. Make sure to like and subscribe to not only the podcast, but also our YouTube channel. And Al, who does our music and our artwork?
Our music is by Brendan Williams and James Connolly. Our art is by Kortney Howell. I am Alfred Jutsum.
I am Steve Taylor. Folks, we will see you next week.
Until next week, friends and enemies, when there will be more monsters and probably more monstrous NFL reviews.
Yes.
Have a great week, friends and enemies.